Okay, here's my genuine opinion. For streamers in 2024, 2025, I think this is the best time to buy a mirrorless camera. Like, I think you have the best options you've ever had on all fronts. Like, this is the most exciting time to get a camera as a content creator. I've been wanting to do a video talking about the best mirrorless cameras for streamers and content creators, both budget, both bells and whistles, and then like nice hybrid mixture of both for a while. And so I did the best thing I could do, and I brought on someone who knows cameras a lot better than me.
Probably too much for this, for your guys' sake.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to reel you back in a little bit. But this is Dustin. Dustin's the cinematographer and the editor of this channel, and he's the reason these videos look so good. So we're gonna talk about some cameras. We're gonna talk about which ones you should buy based on your needs and your budget. And let's just go.
Let's get it. So I wrote down a list here.
Hold on. I haven't told them about Own.pro yet. We gotta thank the sponsor of today's video. Own.pro, the fastest and easiest way to set up your live stream for Twitch or YouTube.
How easy?
It's super easy. In fact, there's over 10,000 design elements that you can use to set up your live stream.
It's a lot of assets.
It's too many assets. You can completely customize and create your own stream style no matter how unique you want your stream to look. You can even customize the color of their pre-made overlays to match your branding.
I like green.
Setting up your stream on Own.pro is super fast and easy, or you can create a complete stream package in seconds with alerts, widgets, and labels added automatically. Upload your own assets, access their massive widget library, create elements from scratch. Own.pro is an easy and fast way to get started live streaming. Check them out at the link in the description down below. All right, let's talk about cameras. Which one do you want to start with?
So I essentially wrote down 3 different options, but we wanted to throw in another option that is kind of more Harris's pick, which is the Sony a5100.
Yeah, the Sony a5100 is has been my go-to. I think it's the streamer go-to camera. It's like the old faithful of streamer cameras. It's getting kind of old, which means that the used market has gotten so cheap on it. But if you're looking to get a mirrorless camera, that is the fastest, easiest, cheapest way to get one. You're gonna be missing some things that modern cameras have. You're gonna be stuck at 1080p. Your autofocus isn't gonna be great. In fact, that's probably gonna be the biggest downside is autofocus today is so much better than autofocus when that came out. But you can put whatever lens you want on there. You can get that real background blur. If you're just talking about lowest price mirrorless camera, just get me that real camera look. Yeah, start with the a5100.
Isn't that close in price if you're comparing to a webcam, the Elgato Pro? Or whatever,
yeah, it's
$50
more than the webcam we got behind us.
Yeah, given this is without a lens, so you'd have to buy a lens, but still, that is an insane price, honestly, for a mirrorless camera.
It's not the greatest thing you're ever gonna find, but it is entry level. And especially if you just want it for streaming, you're not missing much at all. You're mostly missing filming features.
Yeah.
So,
there it is.
That was a quick one.
Yeah, a5100. The next one is also a Sony? That's what we're going with?
I kind of want to jump up to you want the bells and whistles camera.
Okay, let's do the bells and whistles.
And then we'll jump to the hybrid in the middle.
Yeah, okay, I like that. Yeah. So for our bells and whistles camera, this is kind of crazy because when I looked up the used price for just the body, I kind of put it in the category of insane value because it only cost $1,250. And it's essentially, we actually don't have one right here, but I'll throw it.
Because we're shooting this video on 3 of them.
Yeah, we're actually shooting on it right now.
We've even got one up there.
But it's the Lumix S5ii. It's a full frame camera. I don't want to get too detailed, but full frame.
Well, can we list off some the specs, full frame, 6K, open gates. We shoot every single video on this channel on this camera.
Yeah, pretty much. It is a professional, you can use it for professional work and for photos and video, or you can just use it at home for your own content.
It's also the camera that I use on my live stream right now.
Yeah, and I was gonna touch on that. The biggest advantage to streamers, why don't you tell them why you like it for streaming?
The main reason that I use the S5ii for streaming is because of the open gate. Right now, if you're streaming, you need to be making TikToks out of your live streaming content. And so having the vertical plugin that Adam released with me, and having that on the side just automatically recording TikToks is a given. And then so having a camera that shoots taller footage, so it's not hyper cropped in, sometimes you turn it into a TikTok and your face barely fits on the screen, you have that extra vertical real estate. It's easier to shoot vertical. Also, just when you're going out shooting, it's easier to convert your footage into vertical. Yeah. Like, it's why I replaced so many of my cameras with this one, because like I wanted to be able to shoot vertical. Yeah. Your content has to be convertible to vertical format. And this is like the only camera that does it properly. Hey,
shameless plug though. If you want to learn more about Lumix cameras, you can go check out my channel. I'll link that below. Yeah. Are you editing this video?
Am I editing this video?
Yeah, since I'm in it.
I've forgotten how to edit.
Oh.
Yeah, I handed that off to you and I just erased that from my brain. My brain is a hard drive and I didn't have space for it anymore.
It's worth a try.
Well, I mean, that's kind of the crazy thing right now. That this camera came out, what, 2 years ago? A year and a half ago?
Yeah, it was almost 2 years ago now.
Only 2 years old. Yeah. It's normally $2,000, but right now, like this is the prime point of like, it's still a new camera, but the used market has, like you can get it for we found it earlier for $1,250.
On Amazon.
That's insane.
That's crazy.
Like, and this isn't eBay where like they might scam you. Like you buy it on Amazon, you don't like it, you return it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's damaged or whatever, but like you're getting a $2,000 brand new, really recently used or really recently released camera for $1,250.
Yeah, and I looked up the condition too, and it even said like 9+, which is like basically brand new.
Yeah, I bought this one used on Amazon. Like buying used cameras is like my favorite thing.
Really helps. The wallet. If you do want to get it with a lens too, it's going to cost around, the used one was $1,575 to be exact. So, you know, remember we're talking just body only, but the lenses are even fairly affordable. You can find like the kit lens, which I don't even really consider a kit lens for the Lumix. You can get it, yeah, for just a couple $100 more. The
kit lens is the lens that it comes with. That's like the cheap lens for them to have with it. But like, yeah, Lumix kit lenses are probably some of the best kit lenses.
Yeah, and it's 20 millimeters, so it's still pretty wide. You know, as the camera's full frame, it's not APS-C like the, A5100. So yeah, you get that background blur.
This is why I'm excited about cameras in 2024, 2025, because the high end of our list is $1,250.
Yeah.
That pumps me up so much. Okay. Middle ground is where things get interesting. What if you don't want to spend $1,200 or $1,400, but you still want some really cool both streaming and video features for starting your content journey?
Yeah, I kind of call this the safe option. It's actually the camera you gave to Simbi. It's the Sony ZV-E10. You can get it used for $650, and it's probably a better budget option, in my opinion, for streaming. Than
the A5100?
Yeah. I mean, subjective, you know, everybody's budget's different.
It is significantly better than the A5100.
Yeah. One of the main things that makes it good for streamers is it's got this mode, it's got UVC functions, which essentially plug it in, USB-C, into your computer, into the camera, and you can use it as a webcam.
It charges it and it brings the video functionality over. Like it turns it into a webcam.
Yeah, exactly. So that's probably like the main reason why for streamers. And of course, you can go out and use it for other content, for pictures, for video. Main disadvantage, and this is kind of a more nerdy spec thing that some people will care about, some won't, but it doesn't have 10-bit color. It only has 8-bit. So if you're gonna be messing with the colors a lot, 8-bit is not gonna be that
you try
good.
to color correct, you'll start to notice color blocking a little bit. I noticed that when I was shooting with it. I couldn't get the colors looking nearly as good if I wanted to really tweak it.
Yeah, so you could potentially go for the newly released Sony ZV-E10 Mark II, but it comes at a cost. There's not that much difference between the two.
Yeah,
basically,
so like,
it's just 10-bit color.
With our middle range, like this is like the budget middle range, which it's significantly better than the A5100, but also it's a couple $100 more. And so it just kind of depends on what your budget is.
Yeah.
And then above that, we have a camera that I'm super excited about. Now, super big, important disclaimer on this. This is a brand new camera that came out this month.
Yeah, we can't even order it yet.
So yeah, I don't have it in yet. I'm gonna try to rent it in January because I think it might be the ultimate mid-ground, like budget, but kind of mid-range budget streamer and content creator camera.
Yeah, and it offers some cool features that the other two like don't
It's
really
the
like.
Fujifilm, what is it, XM5? Is that what it's
Yes,
called?
XM5.
This camera was just announced like a month ago, and I was so excited about it. I've never used a Fujifilm before,
Neither have I.
but we know the guys who did the review of this camera. It's super reputable, and they loved it. Everybody that's used it has loved it. But the main thing that I got excited about is it's APS-C, which is the smaller sensor, which makes it cheaper. So it's $800, but it's also 6K open gate.
Yeah.
So again, you have 6K, which most of these cameras are only 4K. So you have that extra 6K resolution, and you have the taller footage for turning your stuff into TikToks, which again, for a content creator, I can't believe any content cameras are released nowadays that aren't open gate. Yeah. It's wild to me, but you get the 10-bit color, you get the 6K open gate for $800 is nuts to me. So we need to test it because there are two things that we want to know about it. One is how good is the low light performance, but we've watched examples of films shot on it and it looks like it's totally fine, especially for someone who's only spending $800 on a camera. The big thing I'm concerned about is how long, if it overheats. No one's tested that because no one's used it for streaming yet. So that's the first thing, like just if you end up ordering this, that should be the first thing you test, but within your return period. But we're gonna test it in January.
And just to clarify, it will overheat at around, at least what I saw, around 20 minutes just shooting 6K open gates.
Like recording?
Yeah, recording, but we're talking about connecting it to, it has a UVC option. It says it only does 4K 60, so there may not be an open gate option. But anyways, yeah, there might be potential by using a capture card. You can do open gate, and yeah, how long will it last until it overheats? Because yeah, nobody's tested that I could find online.
Yeah, if this doesn't overheat within 7 hours, this is the best mid-budget camera for streamers.
Yeah.
It's probably the best camera for streamers.
Yeah, and it's got some cool like pro features. Like it's got these things called film emulations. It's kind of like LUTs, but it's Fujifilm's version of that. They're called like recipes, so I think that's kind of cool to experiment with. And you can do RAW over HDMI, which is huge for a camera less than $1,000. This is for like the nerdy people. And an interesting thing that it has over the other cameras, it can do 1080p, 240 frames per second.
Just super slow-mo?
Yeah, I don't think the Sony ZV-10 or the Mark II can do 1080p 240. I think it's only 720p.
I don't even think our cameras can do 1080p 240.
They can do 120, but
My phone can do it.
yeah.
That's pretty neat.
All right, just use your phone. You're just gonna throw that out there again. You're just gonna say, you know what? Just use the camera that's in your pocket. He does that a lot in these camera videos, so. Epoch cam.
Just hard to argue against that.
It is, it is.
But across this this budget board, like as you go up, there are significant improvements across them. When you go from the cheapest to the mid-budget, you get better colors, you get better autofocus. I think those are the two big ones, and those are super important. Then when you go from the mid to the high tier, you go to Lumix, you get full frame, you get, big one is you get IBIS.
Yeah, IBIS is a big one.
That's the thing, like, we're talking about in-body stabilization. So if you plan on using this camera while you're moving it, nothing below the Lumix, none of the mid-range, none of the low-range have in-body image stabilization. So, and that is massive.
Yeah,
So,
they have electronic e-stabilization, which is just basically like the software stabilizing it in camera. But yeah, no physical IBIS inside the camera.
and if you've ever used Lumix IBIS, we should actually show that shot of you running.
Okay, I'll
Using-
throw that
using
one
the
up.
Lumix.
That's honestly the best example of it.
Oh, and also like the S5ii has a fan built into it. So you can literally run that thing forever in 6K and it will never overheat. So it's advantages with every single jump. And then just for funsies, we both have our little S9s out here. These are actually we didn't mention this in the thing, but these are our favorite cameras. We both use this one. Like, when they announced this, I don't know if you felt the same way. They brought it out on stage. We went to Japan for this. They brought it out on stage and they brought it out and I was like, dang it.
Yeah.
It's the same thing but smaller.
Yeah.
And like it sounds dumb. You don't understand it till you use it. Like having the power of the S5ii, because this is basically an S5ii in a teeny tiny little body. Like being able to just carry this thing around and shoot like that is so much fun.
This is what I took on vacation.
Yeah.
This little setup right here.
I only use these cameras for long shoots like this because that's the downside of using, there are a couple downsides, but for content creators, the really only downside is it'll overheat faster. That's why I don't stream with this one. You can stream for forever using 1080p, but you won't get open gate, so you won't get the taller footage. Yeah. And so that's why in general for streamers, I recommend the S5 II.
Yeah, and in that video, there used to be record limits. With firmware updates, that's kind of another reason why some advantages to Lumix too is the firmware updates are really good, but they removed that, so now there's no record limits from that video that we watched.
They'll go until they overheat.
Yeah, exactly. There's a bunch of other kind of random things too, but probably not that important.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, so if you're a content creator and you're like, oh, what camera should I get? If you're moving around, you don't care about open gate for streaming, I'd say the S9. If you want something to vlog with, something to run and gun shoot with, this thing's so cool. But if you want something to sit down, put on a tripod for a long time, stream with 6K open gate, yeah, and you get them both for basically the same price.
Yeah.
The S5 II.
But it comes in cool colors.
And it does come in. I want the pink one.
Yeah, there's pink now.
I want a pink one so bad.
Mint green.
I gotta get a pink one before I go to Japan. That's it for our camera video. Which one is the most interesting to you? Leave it in the comments down below. Want to know what's the most intriguing to the audience here? Toss them down below. Let me know if you have any suggestions. Maybe some cameras that I missed, put them in the comments down there. I'd love to get some extra suggestions for the audience. We'll be testing out the Fujifilm in January-ish.
Yeah, definitely let us know if you want us to. We're gonna do it anyways, but let us know if that camera sounds interesting.
And as always, you wanna do it?
Happy streaming.
I thought you were gonna say the other thing.
Happy filming.
Yeah.
Both.
Both.
Why not both?
Both. Later. What do you think about that?
Who do you like better, me or Harris? Ouch. Just kidding.
You gotta put that in.
Okay.